Another news today that's going under the radar is Evidence Njoku is he going to be playing at UCLA.
Wow, I'm happy for him. I hope he can turn it around and salvage what's left of his eligibility, because I mean this is the thing I found, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I have to be realistic, and like I told you, I go to every practice. Summer, spring, whatever. I go to every practice, and Evidence had an issue, man. He have moments where he'd snatch a ball that looked like he's snatching a golf ball out the sky with one hand, but then he'd have moments where you put the ball in the breadbasket and he just drops it. And Cager had those moments, but it seems like when guys go get a fresh start, a fresh look, I don't know if it's pressure during practice, and maybe that's why Evidence didn't get to see the field much this past season. But there was a lot of competition as far as those guys catching them balls from all them quarterbacks, and Evidence just wasn't the most consistent. Hopefully, that's a fresh feel going out west, and I'm sure his brother's probably going to be in his corner. Hopefully he can show off that speed, that great speed that he has, and be able to show off those athletic attributes. But, hopefully he's been working, man. Hopefully he's been off season working with some guys and getting those hands together, because he's got big hands, but they ain't the softest hands. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and that's going to be interesting. He's going to be down there with Chip Kelly. They got I forget their quarterback name, but they got a dual threat quarterback. So, we got Evidence there, Nigel Bethel at Colorado. Oh man, why am I forgetting his name? He transferred to Illinois. The safety, come on, man.
I don't know.
Our safety who transferred to Illinois. Why is he slipping my mind? Somebody in the chat, hit
Jackson.
me up.
Yeah.
Who?
Was it D Jackson or something like that?
Yeah, Derek Smith. Low key could have been one of our best players. He would have got some playing time this year. I wish he wouldn't have transferred. Derek Smith transferred to Illinois.
Let me tell y'all about Derek Smith. I'm sorry, NMD.
Go ahead.
I think we dropped the ball with Derek Smith.
Talking about Derek Smith, did we drop the ball?
If y'all don't remember, obviously yes, we have a lot of talent as far as, and this is what I don't get about a lot of the coaching staff, and this is why I say I like Ed Reed. A lot of coaching staff, a lot of the times the coaching staff will be super loyal to guys because of their tenure, and it ain't always about the best player on the field. Let me tell you who was the best safety on the field last season, all spring, going all the way up into the final depth chart. Derek Smith. He was a headhunter. Listen, there's some. If you guys ever want to follow him, and hopefully he gets the field this year, this upcoming season against Illinois, and you can see, man, this guy was a monster. He was all over the field. He's fast. He's quick. He closes ground, and he will knock your block off. I tell you, man, it's tough. I know everybody can't get on the field at the same time. We had Bubba Bolden coming in, and I think that's what really pushed Derek Smith to say, well, man, you guys are really, and I don't like that idea of him leaving. I just think he should have stuck around and just proved it on the field. But, man, he had an opportunity to really get some PT, especially after Bubba Bolden went down. But, we had Knowles, who took a step forward. We had Bubba Bolden. We had, Amari Carter and Gervin Hall. So it was kind of one of those things where he didn't want to play musical safety, and then we had Keontre Smith, who was really really sought after. We really wanted him, and he's going to be a monster too. So we're going to be super deep at safety, super deep at we're going to be super deep at corner after the starting day, and I believe my only issue is that damn striker position, man. I keep saying it, and I think Reed might be able to put some input in there if he looks at it and say, "Hey, this ain't working out." if you know, hopefully we can get a guy, a two-way guy that maybe can play in that position, not necessarily a linebacker type, because of the fact that we've been getting, you know, people are peeping game and saying, "Hey, we need to throw our fastest slot or throw our fastest receiver in the slot and expose those guys." So hopefully we can get a good two-way guy or maybe a faster safety in that role. But, you know, or if GB3 takes a step forward this year, I hope he does, obviously. But I'm not a big fan of it, man. I think, you know, with the athleticism that we have at linebacker, a 4-3 would be real nice.
Well, I think Derek Smith would have fit perfectly at that striker position. I think he would have been in line to probably start maybe over GB3. I think GB3 right now is going to be our starting striker, which I thought he improved as the season went along. I'm just not a huge fan of the striker position because I just think it's a tough position. I don't know if that's going to always be the focal point of the offense. At least last year it was to attack that striker position. And then we got Jalen Hurl and maybe Amari Carter. You know, I don't know who's going to switch, but that striker position is a lot of responsibility, and I think we'll see what happens. But yeah, Derek Smith. So now we're in the transfer portal. I'm interested to see where Brian Hightower will be, because some people are thinking he's going to come back to Miami. I haven't heard of him taking any visits, so I'm definitely keeping my eye out on that. So.
Let me ask you a question. How do you feel about
Njoku
kids
at UCLA? What's up?
How do you feel about kids putting their name in the portal and coming back? What do you feel about that?
This is my.
We did allow. I don't think. Did Jeff Thomas go in the portal, or did he just say, "Hey, I'm just going to transfer to"?
He was in the portal. They had already made a graphic, a welcome home. Jeff Thomas, welcome to Illinois. Here's my thing. Me personally, this is just me. Mm-hmm. Once you enter the transfer portal, we goodbye. That's what I think should have been done. Okay, that's just my opinion. I think once you put in that sign that you're willing to leave the team for your own reasons, hey, I respect that and I wish you the best. But when they allowed Cleveland Reed to come back, I think that opens Pandora's box, because now Brian Hightower gonna say, "Hey, can I come back?" Well, you let Cleveland Reed come back. You know where's gonna be the line at?
Right. Now let me ask you a question. Do you think it's on the player or on the coach when a player and coach have a relationship issue and the player wants to transfer because of that? Do you think it's on the player, or do you think it's on the head coach? Do you think, you know what I'm saying? Because a head coach is 9 times out of 10, they'll take up for their assistant coaches over the player, usually. Do you think it's on the head coach, or do you think it's on the kid? Like, how do you feel about kids because of coaching? You know, let's just say a kid didn't get along with Eno, and he wanted to transfer because him and Eno just didn't see eye to eye. Do you think that's on the head coach or on the kid or on it's just the nature of the game?
Man, that's tough, because every situation is going to be different. You know, I feel like if a coach has disrespected you to a level where you want to change, you're changing your life once you decide to transfer, then then that's just, I don't think that's on a coach. I think I think it's, man, that's tough. That's a tough one. But I'm just gonna say this is what I think. I think these are young men in college. They're making their life decision. If a kid decides to leave, he makes that decision. I think it's the coach's responsibility to lay out your options. Like, hey, I know you're not happy, but next year could be your year. I know you're not happy, but this is the feedback. But once they enter that portal, I think it's gone. I think you gotta go. I just think that's tough because I think there's so many different situations where, like the Lorenzen Lingard. I don't blame Lorenzen Lingard for transferring because you got Jimmy Murphy, you got Lewis Headley, you got Michael Barrett. All these guys got more carries than I did. I don't blame you. So I think it's it's a case by case. I think it's a case by case basis. But my opinion on the portal is once you enter, you gotta go.
That's a fact. I'm with you on that, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I don't like the idea of just keep talking about bringing kids back out of the portal. I was supportive of Jeff Thomas coming back because I do think they threw him under the bus because obviously, I think he was blatantly misused in a couple of those seasons under Rick, and for Thomas Jones to come out and call him this and call him names and throw him under the bus in front of the press, he's a kid at the end of the day, obviously. So that really, you gotta look at it. I'm a parent, so I can see where a kid would just say, well, maybe they don't want me here, or maybe they feel like this and want to go. So I felt he got a bad shake, and I was supportive of him coming back, but I don't like the idea. I'm call me a hypocrite. I'm starting to come around to the idea of if you want to leave for whatever reason, as long as you was laid out, as long as the head coach gave you those options and gave you the pros and cons, and you still made that decision to leave, then you're gone.
So my question was
if you had no support team, you had nobody kind of giving you insight, hey man, you're our guy next year, this or that, and you just had you got an attitude, you're mad, you just want to leave, and there was no type of communication through it, that's different. But if you those guys were sitting in your living room recruiting you in front of your mama and your daddy, you're supposed to have a relationship to be able to talk things through with those guys. And if you talk things through and you still want to leave, then you gotta go.
So let me ask you this. I'm asking you. You're Manny Diaz. Brian Hightower says, I apologize. I want to be a Miami Hurricane. Do you accept them back?
No. You know why?
Why?
Because what does that tell Mike Harley? What does that tell Mark Pope that stuck through things through the bad times? Those guys wasn't getting, Pope especially he got a little bit more playing time, but he wasn't a marquee guy, and he worked hard. A lot of these guys on the current team, what we don't want is to create a culture of, giving these kids too much power, because if you got some kids that's going to be here going through, like, look at Njoku. Njoku been through every one of these seasons, man, and holding it down. And let's just say Jaron or Tate, they want to go in the portal, and then we welcome them back with open arms. That's not fair. So that's the reason why I say no. At the end of the day, they're all young men. They're going to have to make those decisions, tough decisions, as long as the coaches kept things transparent with them and they still said, I'm going to take my talent elsewhere. You're going to have to just live with that decision. And they're going to have to stay out of there, stay away. So